What is up, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of the PGA DFS Model Breakdown. David Thompson gets the job done, runs away from the field at the John Deere Classic. While I didn't have him as an outright bet, he was number one in last week's models, so a little vindication there. Hopefully, a lot of you either had him in DFS or had an outright on him. I do wish I would have added him to the betting card, but we move on. You always got to start with a clean slate each and every week. And we have a fun 2-week stretch coming up. So we have the Genesis Scottish Open this week, and then we have the Open Championship next week. So 2 events overseas, going to be a lot of fun. Definitely a different style of golf than we're used to seeing on the PGA Tour. This is going to be links golf. This will be the 6th time that the Scottish Open has been held at the Renaissance Club, and the 3rd time that it's going to be, a co-sanctioned event between the PGA Tour and the DP World Tour. So you're going to get a nice mix of the best golfers from both tours. This is a great week to kind of load up on those golfers from the DP World Tour, just because they have more experience on links. They're going to be more comfortable playing in Europe. And a lot of the PGA Tour regulars just don't play this type of golf very often. The ground's going to be a lot firmer. It doesn't look like there's going to be a lot of wind, though. That's usually one of the staples of links golf because there are no trees. But yeah, the forecast right now, it calls for less than 10-mile-per-hour winds on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. If that's the case, we can expect some low scores. We've seen the winning score at this event be anywhere from 7 under to 22 under, I believe. Let me double check that. So Bernd Wiesberger won here in 2019 to 22 under. Xander Schauffele won here in 2022 at 7 under. And all that just depends on the wind. And without any wind, I do think this course is going to play a little bit easier. As far as the course itself, it's in Scotland. Was designed by Tom Doak, par 70, 7,237 yards. It will play shorter than that most of the days. I think the final round last year was closer to 7,050 yards. It's had a good track record of winners, and we've had Rory, Xander, Minwoo, Aaron Rai, and then Wiesberger. The greens are pretty large, and they do feature fescue, so they're going to be slow, and there's going to be a lot of 3-putts because they are so slow and because the greens are so big. A lot of approach shots from over 150 yards. So if you look at the approach shot distributions from last year, 20% came from 150 to 175, 23% from 175 to 200, and 26% from over 200. So you're going to get a lot of mid and long irons. I do think that is something to look at this week. I think links experience is something to look at. We have seen a lot of longer hitters play well here. It is a par 70, but there are 3 par 5s, and there's also a drivable par 4. So distance isn't necessarily a bad thing here, especially on those scoring holes. But it doesn't necessarily mean you have to be a bomber to play well here. It is links golf. And that should just about do it for the course preview. Yeah, looking kind of off the tee, approach, putting, links experience, bogey avoidance, all that fun stuff. Let's get into the model for the week. Again, like I said, off the tee pretty heavy, approach pretty heavy, putting pretty heavy, and then pretty even split between birdie or better and bogey avoidance. I don't have the leaderboards from 2020 and 2019. I tried my best, but I could not find a leaderboard that would pull in from ESPN. That's usually where I get my stuff. So the name matching became difficult when I tried to pull it in from another site. And I just decided that it wasn't worth it just for 2 years of course history that were pretty old anyway. But some of those numbers are still calculated in this. So I have 3 different course history scores. One comes from Data Golf, one comes from the Rabbit Hole, and then one comes from my the leaderboards that I pull in. So some of these numbers do include the 2020 and 2019 results in this rating column here. And then since I don't have any comps this week, I bumped up the form, long-term, mid-term, short-term. Let's get into the players, and then we'll get out of here. So Xander Schauffele, 99.2. That's almost a perfect rating, which is pretty difficult to do. He's basically number one in almost everything except for course history, and very close on the form stuff. He won here 2022. So yeah, it's hard for me not to prefer Xander if I am spending up on anyone. Rory hasn't played since the U.S. Open. Not sure where his head's going to be at. I do think this is a great landing spot for him for his first event back because he won here last year. The Scottish fans love him and all that. But 29% at the most expensive. Given the fact that he hasn't played in a few weeks, I'll probably be a little bit underweight there. No strong take on Ludwig or Morikawa. I think they're both fine. Morikawa, he did win an Open Championship where the windy conditions were, very, very tame. So maybe that helps him here. He hasn't been great on links golf otherwise, and he hasn't been very good here. Ludwig, his miscut here last year is a little bit more forgivable. I think his game translates to any golf course, and he's been in awesome form. So I don't know. If I'm spending up, I think I'm just going up to Xander, especially in single entry, small field stuff. Then we dip down a little bit. Hovland continues to rate out well. The form has been a little bit better lately, but the around the green stuff is still a big concern. The good news is the green in regulation rate is going to be high. It was 65% last year and crazy wind. This year, we're not expecting much wind. And, it's just a different style of golf. So I think that might help his around the green play a little bit. Tommy Fleetwood's been playing great, top 25 machine, back-to-back top 6 finishes here. Love him in all formats. I like Corey Connors, just continues to ball strike it really well. T19 here last year. Aaron Rai won here in 2020. 4 straight top 20s. And if you look at his recent putting, he's gained like 16 strokes putting over his last 3 starts. He's always been known for his ball striking. All of a sudden, he's figured out how to putt. I think he's going to be very popular at 8,300. Hideki Matsuyama, been playing well all year. He did miss a cut here in 2022, but he does have a pretty good track record on links courses, so I'll be overweight on Hideki. Don't know what to do with Davis Thompson. I mean, coming off of a 9th, 2nd, and then he won last week. But, I mean, first-time winners on the PGA Tour typically have a lull a little bit after that. He had to travel overseas. I'm sure he's been enjoying the win. I don't know how much, he's been practicing, and he doesn't have a lot of links experience. So while he projects well, I don't think I'm going to have a ton of Davis Thompson. Love Tom Kim in all formats, 6th and 3rd here. A couple top 5s in his last 5 starts. I think he makes a lot of sense. He's been gaining consistently off the tee, putting, and on approach. Keith Mitchell is one of my favorite tournament plays of the week. Great ball striker. I think the fact that the wind is going to be down is going to help him on a links course. I do think he can hit a lot of these greens in regulation, and I think that's going to go a long way for him. So 7,300, sign me up for that. Benyon was 3rd place here last year. Hasn't played in a few weeks, but he's having a good year. So I'll play some Benyon. Bet Minwoo Lee at 30-1. He won here in 2021. He's got 6 straight top 30 finishes. He finished 2nd at the Rocket Mortgage his last time out. And the iron play is slowly getting better. So that is a key for me. Justin Thomas, T12 or better, I think in 8 of his last 15 starts. So everyone talks about his form being bad, but it's actually been pretty decent. T5 his last time out. He's one of those guys that has all the shots, so I'd probably rather prefer him in windier conditions, but I do think he's still interesting. Hoagie, love Hoagie this week. He popped at the Open Championship last year. He is over 2 here, but he's just been great all year. Approach and putting kind of translates to any golf course. Don't know what to do with Sung Jae. He's been turning it around, but again, so Hoagie did finish T19 here. It was Sung Jae that's missed both cuts here. No strong take on Sung Jae. I like the way his game's trending. Just don't know if links is the best fit for him. Tigala, I think he's an interesting tournament play. EVR has been playing well. I think he makes some sense. He's got a lot of experience in Europe. Tom McKibben, young guy on the DP World Tour. He won, and he's finished 4th and 2nd the last couple of weeks. T35 here last year. And what I did with the DP World Tour regulars, I went through and manually added all their stats. So they don't have any stats that can be broken down into 3 months, 6 months, 12 months. So I just took their full year stats and just applied them manually. So that's why these are all going to be the same. I didn't do the total driving. I just copied over the stroke gain off the tee. But so as you can see, he's a great driver of the ball. Doesn't make a lot of bogeys. He's not very good around the green. Real bad, actually. But he's hitting a bunch of greens in regulation. Probably not going to matter. So I like McKibben. Harmon won the Open Championship last year and finished T12 at this event. I love Seabez. He's one of my biggest bets of the week with the top 20. Put him in the fairway with everyone else. He's going to be in a really good position just because he's so good on approach, around the green, and putting. Yeah, Wyndham Clark, who finally put together a good finish. T8 his last time out. Surprisingly, a couple top 25s here. So maybe this is a good spot to get back on him. Ben Griffin's been playing great. T5 after a huge weekend at the John Deere. T25 here last year. Straka's been a top 10 machine. Always a guy that I look to in tournament. Soderberg, I had to bump his projection down because it was rating out really well. 6,400. Doesn't look like he's going to be too popular. Look at his stats on the DP World Tour. 3rd on approach, 1st in birdie better, 11th in bogey avoidance. He's made his last 2 cuts here. 3 top 3s in his last 5 starts. Sign me up for that at this price point. Bobby Mack nearly won here last year. Rory McIlroy kind of ripped his heart out with that. I think it was a 2-iron that he just stuck. That was pretty impressive, but a great finish from Bobby Mack last year at this event. I like Rasmus Højgaard. I like him a little bit better than Nikolai, his twin brother. Horschel, Norin, Homa. I don't have any strong takes there. Siwoo, Adam Scott. Novak's been playing really well. 3 straight top 20 finishes, but again, not a ton of experience on links. In terms of Euro guys that I like Bernd Wiesberger. 6,600 is a good price point for him. He's been a top 30 machine all year. Won here in 2019. Jordan L. Smith hasn't been as consistent, but he's coming off of a 2nd place finish and back-to-back top 25s at this event. Nakajima's been playing well on the DP World Tour. Denny, I do think Denny should be a good links player in theory. Really good short game, pretty low ball flight, can run it up there, play some different shots. Speed just doesn't rate out well for me. I'm not too intrigued by his T26 after kind of making a run on Saturday last week. Who else we got here? So Laurie Cantor's interesting. I mean, he won recently on the DP World Tour. And look at his stats. I mean, he's 6th off the tee, 17th on approach, 3rd in bogey avoidance, but then like one of the worst when it comes to strokes gained around the green and putting. So if you like the team ball striking, Laurie Cantor is a guy to look at. I think that'll just about do it. I'll have some more thoughts in my article, maybe some other guys from the DP World Tour that I have my eye on. But with that, I'm going to get out of here. Best of luck. Open Championship next week. So good luck. Catch you later.